do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, fantastic viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you guys finally found me. And for those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful to be here doing your reading. Again, today, you guys are all very safe and welcome in this space with me today. If it is your first time to this channel or to this reading, I do suggest you guys sit through the disclaimer before we get into your reading. For the rest of you guys, what is this reading? This reading is taking a look at the connection between you and someone on your mind and what it is you guys are feeling, thinking, and what's going on in the connection, you versus this person sort of format. And yeah, we'll take a look and see maybe there's conflict, maybe there's information here that might help you see things differently from your person's perspective, or get you to understand your own perspective if you are struggling through anything in regards to any connection. Okay, or maybe everything's peachy keen and you're just here because you love to sit through my readings, and I love you very much. All right, so beautiful angels, these are the decks we'll be using. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the tarot packs. These are the oracles I'll be using. I'll hold up the decks shortly. Okay, but let's get into a very quick disclaimer. Disclaimer here is if you have done no self-work, and I'm not talking about living your life just being aware, okay, thinking you're aware. That's not what I mean. If you haven't done any self-work, I suggest you go do some self-work before you listen to this reading, okay? You can do what you want. I will read to you exactly what I see here, but let's not go trying to get into any connection unless we're healed. Period. End of story. Okay? You can do what you want, but you're just perpetuating more of the same challenges, suffering, and I do suggest you go focus on yourself, meaning really do some self-inquiry, self-observation, self-healing, ego death, and really take a look at yourself. That's the best way for you to overcome challenges in this connection. Watching tarot and understanding this person is not going to help you. Period. End of story. But you could do it and you could stay there as long as you need, as long as you want. Or if you just decide that is what you want to do, then absolutely go ahead. But I do want you to break free from suffering. I do want you to heal, and I do want you to move towards the very best thing that's going to be in your highest good. Okay, whether it be this person or not. Either which way, it's going to require you to heal. Either which way, it only comes from the inside, not from out there. So that's my disclaimer for this reading, beautiful people. I am not here to do anything other than read cards and energy. Okay, it comes through way of intuition, the cards, your spirit. That's how I read it and communicate it, and I'll do my very best to be as compassionate as I can, although I do not try to sugarcoat anything. I don't want you leaving here with a false sense of security. I want you to leave knowing that I've confirmed your intuition. Most of the times I'm really tapped into spiritual connections, meaning this is not your run-of-the-mill sort of connection that's just sort of something that you're kicking tires on. So it's probably not going to resonate for you if that's the case. Okay, because I know I have a lot of new subscribers here. So I do love you guys very much, and I do hope you guys stay, but this might not be everybody's reading, and that's absolutely fine. I'm here to service those who are absolutely struggling throughout a spiritual connection or are on their path to healing through connection. Okay, that's my mission. And that is my focus, and that is always my intention with these relationship readings. Okay, not to get you stuck on someone or in a tarot trap of how someone else is feeling or how someone else is going to control your world or how someone else is making decisions. Okay, that's not the place I want you at, because that doesn't help you, nor does that help the collective. Okay, so beautiful angels, I'm going to put these aside, and then I'm going to hold up your options for the piles that we'll be using today. Option 1 is this Jane Austen tarot pack. Okay, there is no box that I got. I got this off Etsy. If you guys are interested in any of these cards, we do have, I do feel this might be part of your message. We do have a playlist. You guys can go take a look at. A lot of these decks are in my playlist. Okay. Lucid Minds Tarot, pile number 2. Pile number 3, Tarot Obscuro. Pile number 4, 4th edition of the Rainbow Hearts Tarot. So this is exactly how I'm going to leave it. Use your own intuition, what you see, feel, or hear to determine whether these decks, these piles are calling to you. If you're not feeling a vibe, then it might not be your reading today. If the pile is reversed, meaning it's I say to you and it's actually your person and vice versa, feel free to flip it, okay? But don't force messages, don't make things fit. It should be the overall energy of the connection that resonates for you in the pile, okay? And you can certainly be tapping into past, present, future state of the same connection. Or you could get a complete different connection pull through here, and that is not my intention to pull what you're not wanting to see. So don't feel obligated to sit there. If you don't want to hear from that past person, you don't need to convince me or yourself. Okay, just click away. That's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So these are your 4 options, and I will see you at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 1, you guys picked the Jane Austen Tarot, and the one card that went falling. It's funny because look at the silhouette. It's like literally mirrored. So you and your person could certainly be definitely in heavy mirroring. Okay, and for those of you guys who aren't sure what mirroring is, it's like you and your person have similar sort of lessons or triggers that are reflected back to each other. Not necessarily the exact topics, but the issues, circumstances. So if we're looking at childhood wounding or abandonment wounds or attachment styles that might be sort of, playing off each other, could certainly be what's going on here. Okay. So anyway, I just found it interesting that there was a mirroring and it was reversed or flipped, which is giving me masculine, feminine energy, the yin, the yang. So what are we doing, beautiful angels? We are looking at the connection between you and the person you came here about. I do suggest you go listen to the disclaimer if it's your first time to the tarot. Energies can be flipped. Okay, it's up to you how you sort of attribute the energy, but I will read the cards as I see fit. So we're going to look at your energy and your person. So I'm going to be doing a you versus them format. Let's take a look first. So what's going on over here? We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So things are stuck. Things are either moving very, very slow, or they're really, really stuck right now and they're not sort of progressing, and we're not sure whether there is something of substance that can be moved forward, can be salvaged, or should be continued on. Okay, so let's take a look. We'll do person A versus person B. You could either be A or B, up to you to sort of determine what side you fall on. Sometimes I channel and I will say to you, I just assign it. Okay, I'll try to keep it AB so it stays consistent, but I can't promise you anything. Channeling just comes through the way it does naturally. And so if it's you, I'm going to say you. Okay, but that's not everybody's story. So clear and concise message for beautiful pile number 1 versus the person they came here about. Can we take a look at the energy for person A and this connection? The energy, overall energy for person A. What is the overall energy going on with person A? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of this connection. And pile 1. What is person A energetically going through here in this connection? Okay, person B. What is the energetic vibe for person B in this connection? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of this connection. Okay, I will look at the bottom of this shortly. So I do feel like somebody, most likely B, we'll see. No, somebody, I don't know who it is carrying the bulk of the weight of this connection. Okay, we'll see what this means. Clear and concise message for pile 1 in regards to person A. What is the energetic vibe surrounding this person when it comes to this connection? Person B. Okay, and person A. Person A's energy when it comes to this connection, overall, spirits. Person A, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Please help me channel this message. And person B. Sorry, my bracelets are dingle-dangling, and that's the way it's going to be, and my mic is not the greatest. So, doesn't bother me one bit. Bottom of the deck is the King of Wands. Okay. Person A, the World. Ten of Swords in reverse. Interesting. Both cards indicate an ending, although this Ten of Swords is in the reverse. So, and we got the Five of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like what's just came through as a from Spirit here is that person A might have been processing an ending to this connection for a very long time. And so even if an ending hasn't quite happened, or has just recently happened, or has happened a bit ago, this person's been processing this ending for some time, because I do feel like this ending hasn't really been something that's significantly still weighing person A down. In fact, I feel like person A might feel a little bit more free in regards to their energy overall. They might have been the one carrying the energy. Remember how I mentioned somebody's carrying the bulk of this connection or the energetic weight? I feel like it might have been A. Initially, I was going to say B just because it came as a download when I was putting the cards down, but you know, it kind of stayed open, and I do feel as though maybe it's A projecting that they have. You know, we'll see with B, because I haven't tapped into B yet, and maybe they're carrying a different type of energetic weight, so it's unclear. But I do feel like A has felt and has processed, or is in the midst of processing or closing out, because this is completing something successfully. You know, and it is an ending here, and it's something that was very heavy and painful, where they might have felt really left out or pushed out or kicked out or without, you know, but I do feel a heaviness here. And so it's like, maybe that was the heaviness they carried. Like they never felt like it's, they never felt integrated is a word that's coming through, or accepted or welcomed. And so this could be a reason why it might have ended, or why they processed an ending here, and why it feels better to release than it does to stay and carry a weight of something here. Although this world is depicted by two people getting married here, so I'm not quite sure what this means. Maybe they've come into some form of acceptance within self, masculine, feminine, or balance, or acceptance of self. We'll see, because there's some more information that pulls through here. So we'll see. We got number 18, Moon and Neptune. So very dreamy, emotional energy here, but it could be very fantastical as well. This could be an end to unrealistic fantasies about what this connection could be. This definitely could be what's come to an end, and that's been weighing this person down. So I don't know if this person is still engaged, maybe with person B, but has released some form of heavy fantasy, or some idea of what this could mean to them, you know, or some emotional thing that this connection could have been at one point in time in their own world, in their own dreams, in their own emotional body. We have feeling unloved. Definitely we were getting that from the Five Pentacles. Like I said, felt pushed out. So this says feeling unloved, feeling unessential, feeling rejected, separation, indifference, feeling isolated, feeling abandoned. Basic fear, ego level 11. 11 is a very spiritual number. It's about divine inspiration, the synchronicities, and the encouragement to keep going. So again, this person might have been somebody who was kept pushing themselves to keep going, or is needing encouragement to, to stay in something that maybe they dreamt of something that could be like a marriage. Maybe this was their dream, like a dream partner or a dream marriage I want here. There's something very like, 10 cups or like 7 cups about this energy here that might have not have come real. It's like, I want union with this person to have a happily ever after, and I feel unloved. So the number 2 is all about balance, which we were getting this person potentially coming into some form of masculine feminine balance. It's also about choices. And I do feel like this person's made a choice to either let go, or has been working through the process of letting go, like slowly coming to terms with releasing or ending this connection, or the vision, the dream. There's an end of that. Appearing stupid, appearing senseless, get belittled, worldliness, get invaded, appearing ignorant, exhaustion by noise. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior with the number 5, or the number 14, basic fear, ego level. So 14 is Sagittarius energy coming through, but I'm getting that again of the coming into some form of balance within self, or like processing themselves in a way that's more regulated, because I do feel like this person might feel stupid for staying in some fantasy, or thinking that this could have been more or better, and it's like they're coming to some major realization. It's like, I feel like the opposite is what I experience, and it's too heavy to carry these two things in together. The fantasy of everything being perfect, coming together in this connection, and at the same time feeling the reality, which is unloved, pushed out, not welcomed, and maybe feeling isolated or abandoned. It makes me feel like I'm actually like not doing what I'm supposed to do here for my best interest, and getting very exhausted by carrying these two things. So something has to be put down. And I do feel like they're putting down either this idea, this fantasy, their idea of what they thought this could be, or they put down this connection, or both, in order to get more in line and to heal themselves in some way. Vanity 39, or the number 12, that's the hangman energy. So Pisces, it says fixation, ego level. So I feel like there was a change of perspective, where I once was dreamy, where I once was giving maybe more of this into this dream. I'm now maybe trying to find a more balanced version of me. So we have vanity, arrogance, vainglory, pride, disdain, sufficiency, high self-esteem. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Number 3. So 3 is all about growth. Okay, it's about relationships, but it's also, like I said, the hangman energy is really coming through with the 12. And that is, being more enlightened, seeing things completely different than we might have in the past. But it could be, a suspended point in time where we're reflecting, pulled away. And so it could be like an ending is pending here. Like I said, this person might have been contemplating an ending for some time, but still in it, maybe. This is very indicative, and not always, but of how feminine energy processes something that, is unhappy, like an unhappy marriage. Some of you guys could be in a marriage here, where this wife, again, this is just how it's coming through, but don't take gender, because if you're concerned with gender, I'm probably not going to be your reader ever. So energy, this wife, okay, is sort of been processing the death of this connection for some time already, and maybe doing the role or being involved, but it's completely feeling isolated and detached for some time. And so the end has already been processed in some way. But I feel like what I'm getting really from this, this one gives me 6 wands, and 6 wands is about ego, being seen, being appreciated, and I feel like there was a lack of appreciation here. There was a lack of this person getting the accolades maybe they wanted. The visibility of their efforts potentially was taken for granted, or just not in a way here that made them feel seen and loved. And I do feel like this person is actually putting their authenticity in the front now. It's like, maybe choosing to, like I said, to keep going because that's what's expected of me, or there's something inauthentic about following some vision of a fantasy that deep down we know is maybe not necessarily true. And we do this and sort of self-sabotage our own self, or we turn our authentic self away because either we feel it could be very deep rooted, we might truly feel unworthy of having a partnership that is of value. So we cling to situations that are heavy, unfulfilling. I feel unloved, not feeling comfortable, but staying there. So I feel like this person is like putting their own self now, like their authentic self, and maybe seeing beyond this version of them that was really inauthentic, because it really is a little bit of a not in line with their best. So if you guys hear planes in the background, I might have to close the window because my mic sucks. But yeah, it's like the superficial version of them that was engaged, and this didn't mean that they didn't feel, because there are feelings here, but it's like there was a superficiality about those feelings. It wasn't really stemmed from this connection so much, because how could there be such watery deep fantasies about some perfect sort of union here when the whole time maybe we were feeling unloved, or we were feeling like we had a burden or unseen, or had to carry the weight and feel pushed out, and feeling like less than or stupid. And yet we kept at it, or we were kept going. I feel this person is saying like no more, or they're processing how they're about to just be done with this whole thing. So interesting, we have red, yellow, blue. Okay, so root chakra, solar plexus, and the throat chakra. And so I feel like with the roots, that's really about feeling safe. That's really about these integrated, deeper levels, like I was saying, about why people do what they do. It's like there's something about this person's root, which is really the fundamental base chakra here, that is like reaching out for the basic fundamentals. Like everyone deserves to be accepted and feel safe, and if we don't, it's like we don't feel worthy of it, or it's like lacking, or there's blocks, or anything here that's dysfunctional in some way. We start to behave in all sorts of ways. And so I feel like this person's speaking from a level of confidence that they haven't before, and using their will, Now, I always talk about the solar plexus sort of being the chakra of the ego, and ego, I'm funny, ego through either, whether it be, for a good cause or good intention, or in a bad way. Ego is still ego. It doesn't really serve any purpose. There's a needs to sort of work through seeing our own identity. Like, what's the authentic identity, and what's the identity that's sort of running, holding this relationship hostage in some way, or this person hostage in this relationship. So I feel like there's still an ego here, but I think in this case, this is the healthier part. Okay. If, again, like I said, there's no real healthy ego, but I'm going to pull it this way, because if we have issues with the root, and we sort of have to go through the levels of the chakras in order to build our confidence, because the root is like the first, like I said, chakra. Then we have the sacral, and then we have the solar plexus, okay, which are all just the base chakras, which are really egoic, okay? when we have blocks here, there's a lot of shadow work and egos here. When we get to the heart, we've now done a lot of the clearing of the lower 3 chakras when it comes to blockages. And then we have the spiritual chakras, which is the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown chakra. You can't have blocks here. Okay, the only way we can't get energy flow up here is when we have blocks in our lower chakras, because the prana, or the energy, okay, flows from the bottom all the way up our chakra system. And when there's blocks here, we can't flow the prana or the energy. It stays stuck here. And so this is what the shadow work releases. And so this solar plexus is this energy. So we're still an ego, but at least we're sort of, we released something here. Like trying to feel safe at all costs. So I'm going to put up with like situations where I feel at least this person, like, I don't know, we settle, we settle because we're so reaching out to feel safe or loved in some way here, is that we're really in settling type energy in situations that aren't really anything other than just checking off maybe a small part of our basic need. But basic need doesn't really do much of anything. And so there's a graduation to this chakra, which is I deserve better, and we could say, well, that's great. That's not ego to want to deserve better. It's like, we have to understand that there is no I. That's the whole point. Ego means there's no I versus them. I deserve better, that sort of thing. But I won't get into it too much into this video. But either which way, this person is sort of graduating here from this unloved, not feeling safe. So I settled. I did things here that might have not felt very good, and then felt very burdened and heavy by them, which was a choice of my own. And now I'm moving into, this type of energy, which is like, this person better come correctly type energy, which is still ego. But at least it's freeing them from this sort of thing. And I feel like they're communicating this. They're expressing a part of themselves now from this area, where in the past they might have been like, okay, I'll just sort of toe the line or not say anything or settle with the situation where I feel unloved or unwelcomed. It's like, now it's like, this is what I deserve, and so there's no problems with talking about what we want. But when it comes from an egoic place where we haven't healed this, we then realize that there is no separation between this person and that person. There is no I to be fed. Okay, or else this person is just going to go into another connection, from an egoic place, turning and burning, because nobody is going to make this person feel what it is that they're wanting to and needing to feel from the inside. That needs to be cultivated from the inside. Okay, so this person might stop here and then, like I said, be searching for another lover, or for this lover to step up and come correctly. And it's never going to be fulfilling. This person needs to remove all these blocks and cultivate self-love, so that energy can flow to the heart. And once they're in the heart, they're open to be of service to the second person. They're not needing anyone to make them feel safe, not needing anyone to make them feel any which way. And they can speak authentically about feelings without getting lost in fantasy world. So I wasn't expecting all of that stuff, but that's certainly coming through very, very clearly. Let us take a look at person B. Okay, so we have the King of Wands at the bottom, which really is, if I were to pick, one of the kings that represents the solar plexus, would be this King of Wands. The King of Wands is all about our confidence, So this person's finding their confidence, and I feel like it's more of being forced to find some confidence because they've been so burdened by carrying this unloving feeling. So person B, we have the Devil. Okay, that's definitely would indicate why person A might have been feeling very bound or oppressed. So we have Capricorn energy. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. And we have the Seven of Wands in reverse. And we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. And we have the Nine of Swords. Interesting. Let's flip them all and then I'll start to channel. So we have 48 Jupiter, Neptune. So interesting, we have Neptune here and Neptune here. There's also a type of fantasy energy that comes through with Jupiter here. It's almost more in line with, and again, I never call anyone narcissistic, okay, ever, because we're all sort of leaning on a scale of narcissistic type tendencies. But this to me is giving me really self-absorbed type energy here. Self-absorbed in our own sort of grandiose vision of something, potentially. So we have envy, sin ego level 49 or 4. Envy, perpetual dissatisfaction, jealousy, greed, desire, longing, comparison. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. And we have 81 with rumination, disintegration, stress level, 6 and 9. Rumination, provocative, anxiety, fear, doubt, inaction, loss of self-trust. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting one's self. Okay, and then we have planning. 43 or number 7, fixation, ego level. Escape routes, inventiveness, possibilities, projects, imagination, improvisation. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Okay, let us read this one here just very quickly. Sorry, it does help me to channel. You guys can definitely skip ahead if you don't want to hear from the book. I know some of you guys don't like it, and that's fine with me. Okay, so Jupiter, Neptune, conjunct sextile trine. It says, in primitive state, you are in love with your own image as a god or a goddess. You completely forget that you have flaws and are mortal. Adaptive, in touch with the divine realms and muses, you have an everlasting enthusiasm for creating and spreading joy for others. Evolving, you are the optimistic guru who implants every person with seeds of consciousness and divine connection. In conjunct opposition square, in primitive state, you are either wildly impressionable and easily duped, or you exaggerate and deceive others. Adaptive, you are inspired, engaged, and exuberant about spirituality, unity for all people. Evolving, you illustrate how faith in the deepest capacity of one's soul's way of living. You illustrate how faith in the deepest capacity of one's soul is a way of living, and that living this way is contagious. Okay. So, this person has an unhealthy way of being within themselves that has nothing to do with person A. That person A might still not recognize that, like B has some inner stuff here that has to be addressed, or it doesn't have to, but in order for them to be released of any sort of unhealthy patterns or ways of being here that don't allow this person to engage in a healthy way. This person suffers from a lot of anxiety here. They're in their head a lot, and it really holds this person hostage. It holds this person hostage from communicating, from trusting themselves to take action, from even sometimes feeling inspired or confident enough to stand up for what they want. So there's a lot of self-doubt here is what I feel, but even though we have this like I said, this grandiose vision of something that is self-immersed or self-absorbed, it stemmed from a place of, because I don't have that power within me, or feel like it's not within me to cultivate this confidence about me, to commit to something that gets me up in the morning, that I believe in, myself. It's like my own self sort of holds me back and is holding me hostage here. And so therefore, how I act out with other people is like I put on the opposite, like I am the most important thing here, or what I need has to be on the forefront. So it's kind of this energy that's more like pushing people away than it is like allowing people to sort of deal with this person in a healthy way. I do feel like this person carries a lot of deep-rooted unhappiness when it comes to their life at some point. I don't know if it was in their childhood or a past relationship, or they just were ingrained or conditioned to believe that there's a better version of people that could do things, or more successful or more confident, that could be a better version of them some way, somewhere, that they haven't quite connected to. And so they feel like they're not having any progress. They're not having progress in their life in maybe many different ways, specifically, obviously, in this connection, because I do feel like we saw that Knight of Pentacles at the beginning, why things are really like stuck or not moving at all. It's like this person feels really powerless, and it's really, they could definitely be comparing themselves to either a version of them that could be better or wants to be better, or they could definitely be just thinking about like this lack mindset, like if they were hurt in the past, then it's like they keep ruminating over that story or that identity of the hurt version of them that didn't get what it needed. And therefore it's like, I remember how that went down, or I remember how that made me feel. And so therefore it's like a very doubtful, cautious way here now, because it's like, if I'm not going to obviously do the same thing if I feel it's going to get me the same result in some way, but there is like a longing, there's like a desire, there's like, but it's creating this like, or repulsive was what's going to come through my words, but it is sort of repulsive because it's pushing people away here. And I do feel like this person has a level of fixation when it comes to that sort of way of being. Okay, but I do feel like it is around how to be loving, like loving to themselves, how to be in a relationship. Like there's a lot of that part of their world that needs to be looked at and healed, but not through replaying events, because they're ruminating on the pain and what has happened and what they don't want to happen, in a way, as a result of what has happened in the past, and how out there other people might have been, the ones that created the pain or have the control to cause pain. And it's like giving away their power in some way. And so I do feel like this person has a lot of challenge when it comes to that. But I do feel like this person, if these two are in separation, I feel like person B, I keep saying this person, I'm sorry if you're just listening to the audio, person B is coming through here. Like there's some form of review here. And I do feel like it involves person A. Like there might be a genuine feeling here of wanting better in this connection, or there could definitely be a feeling of love that's pulling through with the green ray here, which is the heart chakra, which is driving this person to come up with some solution, despite their devil, despite their lack of confidence, despite their narcissistic sort of tendencies, despite the pains of the past. It's like their replay and their anxiety. There's also a drive here to come up with a plan. Like, how can I plan to maybe get in front of person A, or make things better with A, or come into contact with A? There's a planning and there's anxiety around this, but there's also like I said, a block in communication here, and a challenge in regards to what am I fighting for? Like, what will be my position here? Like, maybe this person's been in devil and stuck in for so long that it's like they have to have a reason that A is going to believe that there's a desire or a want or some form of plan here that B actually is intentionally really connected to, that's going to make things better. Because I have a feeling if B just shows up wanting A to sort of stay in this dynamic, they know that A is going to say, forget it, because A has hit their breaking point. A is coming out of some fantasy, whereas B might have kept them in this fantasy, again, no one can keep them in there, but might have been really like playing off this fantasy, or like You know, there might have been a codependent, like I said, because of all the unhealthy things going on in the root chakra with A, and B sort of reflecting this back in that mirroring we were seeing. But I do feel like B is really stuck here, you know, is really stuck. Ace of Cups in reverse. So all about self-love. And I do feel like there might be an emotional new beginning that could be promising, you know, in each of these people's worlds, whether it be apart or together, I think is like really still up in the air. But both people sort of needs to go inwards and cultivate the love from the inside, because they both have unhealthy ways of loving each other, which is stemmed from an unhealthy way of how they connect with their self-worth. And this is telling me if these two were to come together, nothing would really be healed so much, you know, because we still haven't healed the self-love version or the self-worth version. And so there is a new emotional cycle that could start. And so the emotional cycle really should be one of self-work and self-reflection and self-inquiry in some way here, you know, so that if they do intend on working together, that they've looked at their own sort of emotional body. And I feel like neither of these are at that point, because like I said, I feel like A is just coming out of this more basic sort of level, which is still a graduation to the next level, but they're just going to stay stuck in suffering when it comes to either, you know, if they give B another chance, it still hasn't been resolved or healed because there still isn't cultivating from the inside, or they're just going to go find another relationship and be unhappy and burn and turn and burn and turn and burn and turn, unless they get out of their solar plexus and learn about what it is. There goes my email confirming. Learn what it is about unconditional love of self and their self-worth. There goes my email again, confirming love of self, so that they can give in a connection. Because being in love and connection is all about us being available there for another, how we can be open, accepting, and create space for another. It has nothing to do about attainment. And I feel like A is still now is probably even more wanting, you know, like they raise their bar about what they want, but now it's like in this ego is going to be like, it's all about what I get. It's all about somebody now showing up for me. And it's like overdrive, you know, where they now are very clear what they want, but it's like, good luck, you know, like getting in a connection here, unless the other person is like, you know, also has trauma like this person used to have, and is like gonna try to appease them, you know, for a limited time. And this person's going to just be like, yeah, it's my way or the highway type energy, you know, which isn't helping anyone because it's all about a compromise here. So anyway, I digress, but I do feel like, yeah, B is still undevilly. B is still, I feel like we need more on B. You know, I do. Let's see, Spirit, for B, what can A take away from B or from this second person? What do we need to know to wrap up this reading? What's going on with this devil and this no communication and lack of confidence here? And what's going on with person B? So I do feel there's a planning, but it's like planning for what? Planning to bring B back into the devil. Like they haven't freed themselves from the devil. There's the Empress. That's all about self-love. There's the King of Swords, which is the planning. There's the Queen of Swords in reverse. Maybe we will look at these as well. Might as well. And we have the Tower. Okay. Yes, we got some more insight here as to what's going on. So we have the Five of Wands. We have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the Seven Swords. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Two Swords. Confirmation. Never doubt. There was doubt that we need more, you know, and that's why my readings are always so long, but it's like, it's not really more, but it's going to give us a good sort of, at least for me, understanding here. But it is all in line with what I said. So A, person B sees A as this Empress, okay? Regardless how A feels, regardless of the traumas A has gone through. Okay, because remember, B is also sort of in a trauma of sorts. Okay, I call it trauma, shadow, whatever. Blockage. And so, of course, B doesn't want to lose A. A is the best thing that's happened to B. according to this energy. Okay, or at least there's a chance that A could be this thing that's helping B sort of feel better about themselves. Okay, whether it's more of a selfish sort of desire to keep A around, that is what's up for question here. Okay, and it's most likely is. Okay, but I don't think it's trying to hurt A. It's more of like a selfish desire to hold on to A because I feel better when A is around. Because I can't cultivate my own self-love. I can't cultivate my own self-worth. I can't cultivate that within me. And so A makes me feel a certain way. And so without A, I'd have to go find it within myself. And I'm not there. You know, the self-love, the self-worth, and the reflecting and the real questions and the real in self-inquiry. I'm not there. The only thing this person is more focused on is the planning, and this planning is going towards understanding what they could do to strategize to get A back. Because A is mad at me, because A no longer sees me in the same way, because A doesn't see this connection in the same way. And I want A to be back where A was. And we had an argument, or we're really not seeing eye to eye. And the real challenge between B and A, according to B, is that there's an imbalance. I haven't been invested. I haven't been giving. There's been a heaviness that A has been carrying. And this has been why A has been getting on my case, or I know why A is mad. You know, and I just kept doing it, or there kept being this sort of conflict between us because of the imbalance. And so I'm self-serving now, and now I'm going to put in energy, because in the past there was no energy except for take from A, take from A to make me feel good about myself, because I'm really hurting, really hurting here. I have devil and I feel stuck, and I have anxieties and mental thoughts that really make me feel very not good about myself. I have a very low self-confidence. But A made me feel all these things. And when A goes, I'm not going to feel that way. So I need to get A back. I need A back in my world. And I need to figure out how to do this. I don't want A to be mad and not seeing what's going on here. But I don't know. I don't know, one, what I'm going to say. Two, what the point of position is going to be here. Because what can I say to A? Nothing's really changed. There's nothing I can offer. Just say, come here, please feed me. Make me feel better. Like, those are the reasons I need A, but I have nothing really to offer A, because remember, this person has lack of self-esteem, so they don't think they even have anything anyway. And in this mindset, they really don't want to, it's not really want, but there's nothing they see here that they can give. So it's more about, I need to have A to feed me. But that's not a position to stand on when it comes to communication. So I can't say, hey, A, you know, keep doing what you used to do, even though it was imbalanced and created conflict. Please, like, that's not going to work. So now I'm strategizing, but I don't know. And also, I'm stuck here because there is nothing I can do, according to them, because they feel handicapped or limited or bound by what they can produce, because they think they can't give anything. They're just here to take from others. They're just in connection to get what they can, to make them feel better, to make them feel confident, to make them feel whatever A was making them feel. That's what they want. But they're having existential crisis here, or some terror, existential terror, because it's hit them that A is angry, or that A is no longer certain about them. So this is like a major sort of a major shift in this connection that's creating some form of change. It has to require this person to do something, because something has fallen. You know, something has fallen and not good. And so this person is like, I need to deal with the things that are falling. I need to do something here. You know? So yeah, and the something could definitely be the ending, you know, or the end of the illusion. I do want to see what's with this world then, because I do feel like, I mean, we did sort of tap in, but I want to see for person A, like, what is this world symbolizing here with this marriage? Like, what is this? Person A, can we get some clarity on this world card? Are they in another And maybe they're just like knowing what it is that they want in a partner, you know, and like pulling that in towards them. Or like I said, balancing themselves. But what is with this world? Six of Wands. It's their confidence coming into balance. And Page of Wands in reverse. Okay, so yeah, it's like, remember what I talked about ego? Six of Wands is my ego card. Now A is in this ego high, you know? And this could definitely be a cycle between these two. Because as long as A is in ego, somebody needs to come out of ego. And I think A is more closer to getting out of ego. Okay, if there is such a thing. But we could be so blinded by our own, we're right and what we want and empowerment and dress it up as empowerment. And it's not really empowerment. It's just ego. Ego gets in the way because I don't want to be hurt. Ego gets in the way and I start to make a mind story, what I deserve and what is right for me. And those are stories. There's no right. There's no nothing. There's just nothing. But anyway, so this person is, yeah, they're leaning into their own balance of how they want to be seen, appreciated, loved. And it's like, I now know. And I only want to have victory and success for me because I know what it's like to be on the outs and not get that. And it didn't feel good. And so they're no longer sort of being this naive, giving B a chance or exploring what might happen because there might be an energy here, like it might get better or it will eventually pan out, or I'm going to, you know, be naive and give B the benefit of the doubt, but then feeling like they're stupid about that because it's never really manifested and it got really stuck. And B only kept proving themselves to be more and more self-absorbed because B was not healing, and B has this big old devil. You know, like, is B going to do anything about this devil? Look at these readings just go on forever, Linda. So, last card, the devil. What does pile one need to know about the devil going on with person B? Some of you guys could be dealing with a Capricorn here. Okay, we also have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and Taurus, Libra. And yeah, Two of Cups in reverse. So, unhealthy way when it comes to how they engage in relationship, like I said, you know, and we can't be showing up for another when we are still lacking our own self, one cup. Like, we can't be showing up, giving a cup when our one cup is not available. And this person is not connected to self-love, cannot show up with the cup. They're imbalanced. They can't add value to a connection because they just don't show up. Emotionally, they're discombobulated, dysregulated, inexperienced, unavailable, not sure how, too much anxiety, lacking confidence, emotionally detached, whatever the reason being, it's an unhealthy experience, pattern, something that has now created this dysfunction when it comes to relationships with others, that this person can't engage healthy and can't bring value and can't show up. I mean, can't, sure they can, but that's where they're at unless they really do the self-work. And so also what's coming through is this person is in this like obsessive energy in regards to losing person A. They don't want to lose out. The connection with the tower here is now at risk. You know, whether it's over now and now the tower's happened, or energetically they know they're at risk of not having a two cups for them. You know, it's like person A, it was showing up to me. This relationship was in the bag for me, and now it's being pulled away. And so they got to focus on self-love. So, pile one, this is your reading. Very intense, very deep, very layered. I hope this helped you guys. I love you guys very much. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2. You guys picked the Lucid Minds Tarot. I had the urge to really shuffle your cards like crazy beforehand, which I don't generally do, but I did do that. So what are we doing? We're looking at person A versus person B, you versus them. You could be either B or A or B, doesn't matter. You determine which side you're on. I'll try to refer to it as A and B, so it makes it easy. But sometimes I end up saying you and it's your person and vice versa. So I'll try to keep it consistent, but that's not always how the channeling goes, okay? So let's take a look at these two people here, and we're looking at energy overall and the connection between person A versus person B, and hopefully get to the bottom of the dynamic of what's going on. Okay, so for person A, spirits, when it comes to pile number 2. Person A's energy. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of this connection. And pile number 2, please protect me and the viewer and this connection as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. How is the energy sitting here with person A for pile 2? Overall energy, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Please help me to channel this energy in a way that pile 2 will understand. Thank you so much, Spirit. Pile number 2, person A's energy. Okay, and person B. Person B, Spirit. What is the energy sitting with person B? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Person B. Got the 3 of Wands showing up in reverse. Okay, we'll reveal that shortly, but the one card that's revealed itself is a need for there to be some form of leveling up in this connection that might be very stuck. You know, like it could definitely that plans fell apart, or there was maybe even travel that fell apart. Maybe someone was supposed to travel to someone else and it didn't happen. But I do feel like there's stuckness when it comes to the next level progression in this connection. So it might be stagnant. Let's see. Pile 2, person A, energy. We have ignorance, 23, avoidance, ego level. Ignorance, I'll read it in a bit. Person B, for person B, spirit, pile number 2, their energy. Clear and concise message. Okay, and then one of these. Person A for pile number 2. What is their energy in this connection? For person A, spirit. Clear and concise message regarding person A. Sorry, it's very loud outside. Person B. Okay. I might have to close the window if it gets too loud. Let's start with A. And we have the Chariot, Cancer energy. We have Death, Scorpio energy, 2 major arcana so far. We have the 8 of Wands. Wow, movement. And travel. This was the travel card, Knight of Wands. Okay, let's look at all of it. So we have ignorance, number 23, avoidance, ego level. It says intellectual disability, lack of culture, nothingness, interior void, uneducation, social engagement. Number 5. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. And we have perfection. Number 1, compulsion, ideal, ego level, excellency, integrity, rigor, worth, honesty, and righteousness. So it says type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. And number 10, basic fear, ego level, get judged, get punished, get blamed, mistaking, being wrong, feeling guilty, get criticized. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. 2 1s here, so I'm getting Magician, Virgo, and Gemini energy coming through quite strong. Also some Taurus energy. And then we mentioned Cancer and Scorpio. And then we have Pluto, more Scorpio, 64. Wow, okay. So 64 is the number 10. 10 is all about transformation. We have 10 right here. All about ends of cycles and completions. So let me sit with this energy for a second here and see what's going on. Yeah, that's also an ending and a release. Okay, I do need a little more here because it's sort of falling a little bit flat for me, but what am I seeing here? Person A is definitely moving forward and fast, very fast in regards to a transformation and a release here. It could be this connection, but I feel like it's more than that because I do feel like there's a part of them that has really been significantly changed or morphed or requiring some form of morphing within themselves that might have been needing some change for some time. I don't know if it was generated because of this connection or just something here that's been long overdue in some capacity, because it's about themselves sort of transforming inside and out, which would require them to release a lot. And so there is a lot coming through with travel, So I don't know if this person, or these people are long distance, or if this person, is taking some sort of trip somewhere, but it could be very metaphoric or symbolic of like the internal journey we take here. And I do feel like this person is having to deal with the like dark parts of themselves or their shadow, or like they might have experienced in this connection something that's been reflected to them about themselves. And it's like, okay, I want to, I don't know, like integrate certain parts of myself, work on myself, find balance, or have success. Sorry, it's a very loud car. You probably give it a second. I'm gonna pause if it gets any louder. You guys probably can't hear it. If it's too loud, it sort of cuts out on my mic, but that was super loud. So integration of parts of ourself that might be revealing themselves to person A, parts of themselves that are now apparent to them that maybe are unhealed, or that we're holding them back, or weren't allowing them to move forward in life or move towards what they want. Or I feel like this person might have been somebody who might have needed to know what they want, and might have had an idea of what is acceptable or what they thought they needed, and what they thought was what they believed to be successful, or what they believed was going to be what they wanted. There's some form of thing here that's falling away that was creating a unhappiness in person A's world. I think this goes beyond, like I said, this person B and A dynamic. Okay, but it could have definitely been as a result of dating B or being with B. There's some identification here that's like, wow, like there's more that I need to look at, that's been sitting here, and maybe they've been stagnant or like just accepting what is for some time, and feeling like, I guess this is all there is, or I guess this is what I deserve, or I guess I don't deserve anything better, or not even deserve, but so much as this is all life has to offer, or you get what you give. And it's like they experienced at a capacity or at a level in which they were sort of engaged in. And so something fell short. And maybe that's why this kind of felt flat, because I was like, there's something unfulfilling here. There's something that is being revealed to person A about what connection might mean, or what their truest, deepest fulfillment might mean, or something that might get them going or invigorate them or drive them with more excitement. But they'd have to release certain ideas or concepts, or even maybe release this connection, or release certain parts of themselves that held them back, or that made them feel like they had to settle or engage in anything other than what makes them feel good. So they might have carried a lot of self-judgment without even realizing it, and maybe feeling bad or feeling like ashamed of some decisions potentially that they've made in the past. But I feel like this person is really like doing this sort of observation when it comes to shadow work. And I do feel like this person is using this to their advantage so that they could really transform themselves. Because I do feel like for a long time, this person might have not have seen the things about themselves And they might have seen other people as being the problem, or other people as not giving them what they want, or other people sort of disappointing them, and believing that that is how it goes, you know, and not knowing that, hey, maybe if there's if this is what I'm experiencing, there might be something within me that I can look at or change or now identify, so I can move towards what is going to be better for me. And they might have really been looking at B as a mirror, you know, and maybe there might have been some judgment in regards to what this connection is or isn't, that is really being mirrored back to A in some capacity. So we'll see if we could bring it together, but that's what I'm getting with A. Let's take a look at B. So we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, the yin, the yang. Okay, I need to decide or prioritize, but I feel like in this case it could have been we didn't, and so therefore things fell apart. We didn't choose, or we couldn't prioritize, we couldn't find some form of steady balance in some way, or we sat too long, not progressing, not moving, not expanding. And the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, sat too long. Okay, so let's see. Paranoia, suspicion of conspiracy, mistrust, fear, trouble, psychosis, persecution, delirium. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. Number 60, or the number 6 with mental tendency. So 6 is lovers. It's also devil, Gemini, Capricorn energy. 6 is about problem solving, compassion, and harmony. Okay, and then we have Temperance, 97. It was wanting to come in reverse, but I'm more reading energy here because there is an imbalance for sure. So we have Sagittarius energy. We also have Cancer coming through here, 97 or 7. Okay, 7's about faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding. 7's also Chariot energy, integration of shadow. Okay, moderation, sobriety, realism, restraint, simpleness, rooted hope. Type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain, with virtue, growth level. And we have ordinariness, 22. So 22 is a master number. It's about peacemaker, diplomacy, and healthy energetic boundaries, divinely guided relationships. Okay, 2 is also about balance and duality, the yin, the yang, choices. Okay, and we're seeing 2, 2, which is 4, and 4 is about stability and structure and planning. It's also Emperor energy, which is about getting empowered, divine masculine energy. 4 is also the number of death, which we see represented here. So I feel like there is mirroring for sure with the Chariot and the death, which is being kind of picked up by this person in their own world somehow. I don't feel as connected to, like, I don't know. I feel like these two people are worlds apart so far, but we'll see. But anyway, ordinariness, conformism, platitude, routine, dullness, monotony, mediocrity. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. And finally, we have here 29, Venus, or the number 11. 11 is all about divine inspiration, synchronicities, and the encouragement to keep going. So when I was reading this card with the 3 of Wands, the first thing that I said was there was like a need to level up. Okay, now we don't need to do anything, but otherwise it's stagnant. So there is some form of stagnancy here, you know, like stagnancy. And it's like we're not allowing things to flow, or we're feeling very stuck. And so I feel like B wasn't capable of prioritizing or choosing or moving or progressing something or laying the groundwork in a proper way that would help something progress. They were staying in complacency, choosing complacency by not choosing something else, you know? And what was sort of getting in the way here, I feel like it could certainly be rooted in some form of fear, some form of fear of trusting others, some form of if I level up or if I move forward, something might get out of my control. So I am feeling a thing of control here, because it's like I don't want things to be out of my control. Okay. So when we really look at deep-rooted issues when it comes to the subconscious, a lot of times we're looking at lack, and we're looking at fear, and we're looking at a need for control. And when we have this need for control, it's really because we feel like we are a doer, that we have some form of illusion, that we have more power over what happens. And so we're really stuck with outcome. You know, we really get stuck on outcome because it's an attachment we have to control. And so I feel like this person has an attachment to control, so much so that it's like, I'd rather stay where things are than lose control and not be able to influence things. So there's an imbalance here when it comes to this person allowing things to flow, allowing things to progress naturally, prioritizing the connection and making decisions that would allow there to be balance, that would allow there to be flow, that would allow this to sort of move. I also feel like this person could have kept things very, very much in this superficial realm here. So it could be that person A and B never got past like friend zone, you know, or whatever the level was. But I feel like it was very sort of not getting deeper. It stayed in a 3 cups. It stayed in a sort of like a superficial surface thing. And it's like, I can't get any deeper because I fear getting deeper. I fear letting go. I fear trusting you with my heart, or allowing us to be more than what we were. And so something was really holding this person back. And I do feel like this person was all in one sort of domain, if you will. Whatever that, the friend domain, or there's one sort of area that this person was sort of feeding, which could have been, I'm so paranoid, you know, like to person A, they might have not have seen why person B was really fixated on. Sorry. Okay. Let me rephrase, because this is sort of coming through as a download as I keep talking. Spirit's giving me bits and pieces. So person B was avoiding this connection from going deeper. Very clear. They're avoiding. Why are they avoiding any sort of progress, any sort of level up? Because there's a lot of fear here. Okay. Fear in going to the next layer and having to open up, because they would need to submit and let go of control, which they weren't wanting to do. So they focused on something else or other things that wasn't prioritizing. And that was their sort of thing. But it stayed like that. And I don't know how long it stayed like that, but I feel like it created this falling apart of the connection, or things not laying in the groundwork, because this person couldn't see beyond the superficialness of needing control, couldn't see the superficialness, you know, like let their fears of control and losing control get in the way of how deep this connection could get. I know I repeat myself, but that's kind of how it's coming through, you know? And so there was this layer that is like, or a level that couldn't get beyond that. And I don't know how long it's sat here, or I don't know how long this person has been avoiding. And it could just be that person A is like, you know what, person B keeps avoiding and not really fully being in the know why there's so much paranoia, or why there's so much mistrust. You know, and I don't really feel here that it's mistrust of A because A did something to create all of this mistrust. I feel like B is just already paranoid because of some integrated fear of commitment, integrated fear of opening up more or taking things to another level. And so it didn't end well, or it's not resulting good. And B had no choice but to go within, or take a look at what they really want, or ask themselves some questions. I feel like A is in the dark in regards to B, you know? And so let's see. I don't know. Like, it feels like there's like a big divide here. What is the energy between these two, Spirit? Like, what do we need to know? What am I missing here between these two? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Look at the tower. Big shift. Lots of towers. Today's reading is all about the towers. Big shift. You know, it's going to be very catastrophic. It's like we can no longer build on something that isn't sustainable. It has to come down, and it has come down. The truth has been revealed, and the truth is that whatever's here is not anything really. There is no foundation. We can't sustain this way. The moon, 2 major arcanas. So moon's all about emotions. Moons are fears. This person has a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty when it comes to dealing with this connection. And they're really held back by fear, which is keeping A in the dark. Okay, Ace of Pentacles. So an Ace of Pentacles is a solid new beginning. Let's see. Why is the Tower here then, Spirit? So we have Cancer, Pisces. Why is the Tower here? The Empress. Taurus, Libra. Unconditional love, abundance, healthy boundaries. Unconditional love, giving and receiving love in a healthy way. Self-worth, self-value, compassion. Page of Swords in reverse. Why is this Ace of Pentacles here? Eight of Cups. Okay. And the Knight of Swords, and I don't read bottom of the deck, reverse. And we have the High Priestess in reverse. High Priestess, Pisces. So, they're very much validating everything here. I think A had to walk away. Okay? This connection cannot be based upon or built upon somebody who is avoiding and somebody who might be very fearful and scared or not seeing or understanding how it is they can engage openly and honestly if they have too much fear of losing control. And so I feel like A is seeing their own self-worth, is probably really connecting to their own boundaries, is really sort of understanding their own value here and really saying, I can't understand or see clearly where there is anything fruitful here that could sustain or could grow to anything if it's not nurtured. And so I have no choice but to sort of walk away from the potential of this connection because I don't see or understand. And it takes more than just one person here, and I can't figure this out sort of on my own. And so I feel like person A is like confronting what they need to confront within themselves to deal with the uncertainties, to deal with the unknown. And it resulted in just walking away. It's like, this doesn't emotionally feed me or fill me in any sort of way, knowing that there's just a potential here, but it just keeps sitting as a potential seed. Like, this friend will forever just stay in friend zone. It's nothing more, you know, that's it. And that's all. And so no matter how much I wish and want, I don't see anything more, and it's not developing to more, and it's not sustainable as a seed. So they do what they do. And as far as person B is concerned, there, like I said, is too much fear for them to get clear and understand why they have fears when it comes to their own emotions, when it comes to laying foundation, when it comes to making a solid offer here and leveling up. They need to walk away from the avoidance, the paranoia, the mistrust, and all of the stuff that's going on in their subconscious. But unless they understand or see this about themselves and confront it, it remains there, creating catastrophes in the world. Okay, and it always stems down to the subconscious need for self-love, self-worth. You know, this is the card of giving and receiving love in a healthy way. And so it could be that they had maternal sort of issues, you know, when it comes to understanding how to give love and receive love in a healthy way that they don't understand or see or know, you know, which creates confusion in relationships, or it creates this inability to see how to commit, and they get very stagnant, and they get very avoidant, they get very like I said, they can't get deeper. They don't know how, they don't see how, and their intuition might be very blocked here when it comes to how to engage in a loving way that they really need to confront and take a look at here. Page of Pentacles in reverse. So yeah, so there's a potential that isn't getting explored because B is underdeveloped and not in the know, and maybe, you know, underdeveloped or a little emotionally immature when it comes to understanding their own emotions. That results in them not being somebody that is dependable to create a solid 3D relationship in levels and layers here because of their deficiency and the subconscious. Okay, I call it deficiency, whatever. The fear, you know. So what I do want to dig into is this then. Paranoia, need for control. We see, and for all of you guys, it's different. And we were seeing Empress, so it's like a fear of giving and receiving love in a healthy way because of our own need for self-love, and creating healthy boundaries, which we might not know how to do. And so boundaries go both ways. When we have a boundary, we could have it so pushed out that it keeps everyone out. That's not healthy. And sometimes we can have a boundary where we, or a lack of boundary, where we just let people sort of run us rampant in some way. So I feel this person puts out boundaries that are just keeping people out. So let's see, why is this paranoia here? And oops, one fell in my lap, which we will see. 7 Pentacles in reverse. So this is the card about putting in the commitment and the dedication and the effort to maintain something. In the reverse is like giving up. 5 of Cups. Regret, remorse, sadness, looking back in disappointments on things that coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. And I gave up. What is this about, spirits? Judgment in reverse. Again, not understanding, not seeing, not realizing. And there's the Page of Cups, immature, or again, underdeveloped emotions here. And Justice in reverse. Okay, so A does not need to take B personal, which is difficult to do if there were feelings here, because B is emotionally underdeveloped here. They're like at the level of a child. They're not even adolescent, because there's no knight here. There's just pages. Pages are like children. Children will do whatever they do, so there is an innocence here, but this is like very much underdeveloped when it comes to their emotions, and it creates imbalances in connections. This person cannot show up in a balanced, just way that's going to do justice to this connection, because justice to this connection would require showing up, watering, caring, putting in the energy, making the effort. And instead of doing this person just doesn't even try, or it gets to a point and then they just don't do it, or they don't believe that they are capable to do this. Again, it's this child. A child cannot change their diaper, when they're under a certain age. They can't feed themselves, and so this person's like this energy emotionally. I'm not saying this person can't change themselves or feed themselves, but emotionally it's like, no matter how much we think, well, they're an adult, they should have their emotions under control, it's like, well, this might be something that got very stunted at a very young age, and it just froze there, and so they'd rather have everything under control and keep things very stagnant and ordinary and routine and dull and sort of boring as friends, or at whatever level this was. Because it could be friends, and for some of you guys it could be any level that just got sort of stuck and didn't go deeper. And I stayed there because this made me feel like I wasn't going to lose control, that I didn't know how to maintain. And so I do feel like B wanted to engage with A to keep A on this level, because I don't think B wanted to lose A in some way, but it's like, now that I've didn't do the effort, I'm now looking back on sadness or regret, and I feel like bad about this. So it's not really helping their complex in any way, because it's like, well, if they don't know how, because they're emotionally immature, they're not going to be able to just all of a sudden know how it's done without investigating, because they don't know. They don't really see or understand justice and judgment. Like, this is a karmic lesson of sorts, or some form of understanding that this person is needing to come into awareness of within themselves, that might be repeating in their world time and time again. So they keep creating disappointing connections, or they keep avoiding connections, so much so that it's like they're not really learning or understanding the root of why this is. They stay at this immature sort of level of emotional underdevelopment here. And it doesn't ever allow things to move. And we saw that Ace Pentacles is going to need soil, water, sunlight, and maintenance. It can't just be a seed there. And that's what it keeps being, is like this seed of potential that never gets watered, never gets cared for with energy. Like this needs investing in person A, showing up, showing interest, putting in energy, time. No, it's like at a certain level, it just never moved past it. And then it's like, oh, I lost out, or I feel bad or sad about this. It's like, okay, well, we could feel bad and sad all we want, but unless we ask the questions, unless we dig in deep, unless we go and look at our own actions and why this is happening, then this person sort of stays here in this level of a page. And so I do feel like for this group, person B might come forward with an apology. You know, I do feel there's an apology here because I do feel person B feels bad. But it's like they still don't understand or see how they're going to make it better. So they could certainly come around with an apology because they feel so bad about it, but nothing's resolved and or a cycle might just repeat if A doesn't say, okay, well, what's different here? You know, because I feel like A is doing a lot of work, a lot of progression. And so if this is a spiritual connection, which like I say, I generally read for, it could be that person B levels up in some capacity here, you know? The Fool, a new beginning, repeating a cycle. So I feel like these two are actually going to repeat a cycle. And it could be that A is in a different modality when they come back or when they experience B, but B might still be in the same energy. And so there might be another lesson here, you know? Definitely, I feel there's lots of lessons that haven't been learned, lessons that still aren't over, more cycles potentially that needs to exist within these two. Now, again, if you're A and you want to just screw off, go ahead. No one's telling you have to do this. But like I said, I'm reading this because I do feel like A is going to, you know, have B come around apologizing or whatever, and A is going to be in a different energy. And so they might try it again, you know, which really will help B because B might learn something else about them that might come into awareness that will level them up from a page maybe to a knight or maybe from a page to an emperor, who knows, you know, but I do feel there's more news at 11, you know, for these two. But the big news story here or congratulations would be to person A, which is making all sorts of leaps and bounds here, you know, and B does feel bad. Okay, so this is what I see. Pile number 2. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angel. Pile number 3. I love you guys very much. I'm so glad you guys are here with me. We're looking at you versus the person on your mind in regards to the connection and the energy between you guys to see if we could see what the heck is going on. So we have the Tarot Obscuro, pile 3. If this sounds like someone you don't want to hear from, then just go to another pile. All right, you don't have to convince me or yourself, like I say, that you don't like this person and they did you dirty, then don't put any energy towards them. So felt like I needed to say that. We're looking at person A versus person B. You could be A, you could be B, you could be B, A, doesn't matter. You got to resonate with one side being your energy for this to be your reading. Okay, I will try to keep it in an A-B format, although sometimes midway through I start saying you and them, and that will confuse things for you. Okay, I'll try not to do that, but you determine who is who, and I will try to keep it A and B format. So we're going to start with pile with person A. So for pile 3, spirit, person A, the energy overall for person A. What is the energy overall for person A? Clear and concise message in regards to pile 3, person A's energy in this connection. What is their overall energy? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. I do feel there might be more since that came out all barfy. So we got the 9 wands in reverse. Pile number 3, person A. What is their energy? We have the Page of Cups. I don't know why I flipped it. And the Sun in reverse, which is Leo energy. Okay. We'll get all the cards out first. Person B. Person B's energy in this connection. Clear and concise message. Pile 3's person B. What is their energy? Person B's energy overall. Clear and concise message in regards to this connection specifically for pile 3. Person B, spirit. What is their energy? Thank you so much. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of this connection. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. Interesting how that came out. And some of these. Pile 3, person A, their energy. Clear and concise message here for pile number 3. What is the energy of person A? Person B for pile 3, person B for pile 3. Wow. Okay. Funny how your guys' cards are coming out. What do we do? Let's start with well, let's see the bottom of the deck first, I guess. We have strength, Leo energy, strong Leo. Could be sun, moon, rising, or Leo season could be an important sort of time frame in regards to one of you guys or both of you guys in this connection. Okay, and we have the Knight of Wands. So lots of wands, lots of fire, lots of Leo I'm feeling here, okay? It could be Aries, Sagittarius as well. And we have the Ten of Wands. Oh my goodness, lots of passion, lots of fire. Page of Cups and the Sun in reverse, okay? We have 57 with Chiron, Neptune. So Chiron's all about the wounded healer, you know, who heals themselves and heals others through major challenges. And Neptune is a very dreamy planet. It is the ruling planet for Pisces. Let's see. We have self-love, appeasement, plenitude, trust, maturity, quietude, relaxation. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. Integration growth level 87 or 9 and 6. Okay. And we have assertiveness, thorough action, positioning, decision, discipline, self-expression, thoughtful action, 85 or 1 and 4. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance, integration growth level. So we have 2 integration growth levels, 85, 87, and here we have number 9 coming through twice. So 9 is about fruition, completion, fulfillment. 9 could be hermit energy, which is Virgo. 9 is also moon, which is Pisces. Okay, and Cancer. So it says compulsion, ideal, ego level, harmony, tranquility, kindness, calm, comfort, adaptation, friendliness. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Okay, there's not a whole lot, so we're going to have to pull more cards because, I mean, there's just not a whole lot here. But let's read this Chiron and Neptune just to give it some extra meaning. So it says, conjunct sextile trine, primitive, you are lost in escapism as a way to avoid pain. Adaptive, you are gifted at multidimensional healing. Evolving, you are renowned energy healer. In conjunct opposition square, primitive, you use addiction to flee from your trauma. Adaptive, you use divine spiritual tools to address trauma. Evolving, you are able to clear trauma through energy work and meditation. Okay. Just as I suspected. Okay. A lot of you guys are A here, okay? But I'm not going to assign, but I do feel this is your energy. Person A is in a period of complete surrender, okay? Because at one point, it was too heavy for them to carry whatever it was that this connection was revealing to them, okay? This connection was too heavy for them to carry at the same time as whatever it is that was also going on with this person. Because I do feel like there's a lot of healing that this person has been doing, either throughout this connection or as a result of this connection or just on the side of the connection. But it became too heavy for this person to maintain in any sort of way, because maybe this person was carrying a heavier load in this connection, or just something became too much for this person. So they had to put something down. Okay, and I feel like they're surrendering. I don't know here yet what they're putting down. For some of you guys, it could be this connection, but there is surrender. Okay, and I feel like this person is working on a big part of themselves here that is surrounding self-love, spirituality, enlightenment, healing, balance, working on a greater version of themselves, a higher version of themselves. I do feel like this connection could have been very, very, very much a fiery one that might take a lot of this person's energy this person might have felt very depleted when it came to this connection. I don't know if they just felt very intensely. I do feel they did, like very, very intensely. There might have been like a lot of passion or a lot of energy that's just went into, driving this connection. But I do feel like this person is starting to really tap into what it means to love self. Really opening their heart space here in a way that's towards themselves, so they could heal parts of themselves that they know was kind of unhealthy when it came to how they might have engaged in love or how they might have distracted themselves from doing the work. Because I do feel like this person could have easily used this connection or other things, I don't know which just yet, to, like we read in the book, keep them distracted from taking a look at themselves. Fantasy, avoidance of really looking at the pain. And so they might have poured energy into this connection, or just like really gave of themselves here, because I do feel there is a draining of energy. And there's something very youthful about this person, like very excitable, very youthful and energetic. And I feel like this person might have got very, very drained. And it's like, I need to restore a healthy balance that's not over invested or over, like, I feel there's this, what's that called? When an engine overheats, there's an overheating or an over investing. Getting lost. They might have got really lost in this connection, what it could be and what it meant and story of the connection. And then like, it was a way for them to not deal with reality. And the reality here was there's a need for them to learn how to love themselves and surrender to, doing the work of recognizing where there were things that needed to be looked at. So self-expression is coming through here. They might have suppressed their authenticity or suppressed how to really like speak their truth in some way, or take like action that was really impactful, make proper decisions, or just to like calm themselves down. I feel this person was really like out of whack or out of balance in some very significant way because of this connection, or not necessarily because of, but this connection created this imbalance or this realization that this person got lost in the sauce, so to speak. We'll dive in a little deeper because I do feel there has to be a little bit more here, but it feels almost like a very relieving, like this person is like, okay, like now I can see or work on seeing, work on understanding myself, or work on giving myself that love, or return my energy back to me, because I do still feel this person still might feel a little depleted. And it's like a pause period where they're just like, I need to hone back my energy. I need to gain my bearings. But I feel like they're not angry. I also feel like this person isn't necessarily hurt. I don't feel that. I feel like this person is just depleted, drained, and they want peace, and they want to keep focusing on their ascension or their healing or their consciousness or their evolution of self and their truth and that sort of thing. Like, that's what this person is sort of shifting their energy towards now. Yeah, which I do feel took a lot of courage for this person to surrender. That it also took a breaking point, because it's much easier for them to live in a fantasy so they don't have to do the work, or stay distracted. It's much easier, but I feel like there was a lot of courage that this person might have done, and they might have taken a decision here, which decision that might have went against what they normally do, to speak some form of authenticity, to get some form of peace, some form of relaxation and comfort in their own sort of energy field. Okay, let's see. I do feel like B might have been someone who might have drained A, in some capacity. Whether they were intending on doing it or not, I don't know. Let's see. So we have the Eight of Pentacles, and that is the work card. So this definitely could be a Capricorn coming through here. And we have the Seven Swords. Now, Seven Swords is the sneaky card. It could be the card of deceit, but it could be the strategy card, strategizing how to work. Okay, let's keep going. 3 Wands in reverse and 7 Wands. Okay, and we have 90 with Peacemaker, integration growth level, number 9 and 3. Wish for recognition, reconciliation, mediator, agreement, listening to yourself, awareness of your value. Type 9, the Peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Getting Libra energy from this. Also some Taurus, Virgo, Cancer, and Pisces. Okay, and we have 59 with autism, turning inward, schizophrenia, isolation, distance, introversion, and confinement. Number 5. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior, mental tendency, stress level. And we have 57 with mythomania, imagination, conspiracy, trickery, hypocrisy, storyteller, workaholic, oh my goodness, mental tendency, stress level. Number 3, more Taurus energy, Libra energy coming through. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. And we have compartmentation, defense mechanism, ego level 32, or the number 5. So we have 2 5s here. 5-5 is a master number, meaning change is the only constant, divinely orchestrated change. 5 is about conflict, loss. I do feel like something fell apart here or didn't come together in a way here or move forward. Fragmentation, isolation, division, cleavage, lowering, separation. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior. And then we have 63, Neptune and Pluto, or the number 9 again. Lots of 9s. 9s is about fruition, completion, fulfillment. And let us take a look at what this is so I can channel 63. Whoa, that's like right over here. 63. It says, Neptune, Pluto. This card has only one aspect as Neptune has such a long cycle. Primitive, you are drowning in delusions of addictive power. Adaptive, you are showing everyone what powerful sacrifice means in terms of raising consciousness. Evolving, you are the Bodhisattva and have realized the impermanence of life. You model unconditional regard for every moment and every person. Okay. Beautiful people. This came through in a reading. In fact, I think mythomania and this autism came out together as well, because I was reading it at that time, like there was some mental condition here, which could still be relevant here, okay? I say mental condition, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to diagnose, or if people are offended, then I'm not your reader, because I offend people not meaningly, but using words, because words mean nothing to me. Words are, they mean something, but they're not really indicative of what this energy actually is. And so I'm going to use pointers, words, which mean different things to different people. Not everyone's going to like the word, and that's what's going to happen. So this person, I do feel there's something mentally askew here, okay? That is going on that is out of the control of person B. So I do feel kind of sorry for person B in some capacity here, Okay, because there is maybe something here, again, that is more than just, an emotional sort of trauma of sorts. It could be something that's like medically, chemically off with this person at some capacity here. But it doesn't have to be, okay? It could just be a metaphor for what's happening here. So I feel like A and B are in a split, because I do feel like A is taking time away. Whether it's an official split or not, A is definitely removed because of all the reasons I said. Okay, and so I do feel like B is feeling the absence of A, and B really wants to find a way to have harmony with, B really wants to find a way to have harmony with A and find a way to come together. I do feel they're strategizing what they can do, how they can put in effort, where they can put in effort, what is within their control, what they could commit and dedicate themselves to in order for there to be dealing with the fact that things didn't move or fell apart or didn't progress. Okay, so I feel like things fell apart. Maybe there was a plan to move forward. Maybe there were under one understanding that things were going to, like go to a next level or something like this. Maybe the rug got pulled under this person, but for whatever reason, I feel like they're feeling like they need to figure out how to engage with person A, but I feel like it's more like figure out within themselves. And I feel like this person might not be talking to anyone about this, so it might feel very alone. It's like, if we don't know about how to engage or behave or what efforts are right as in the appropriate for that reaction or response in the moment, we could get very lost and upside down. But I think instead of like talking it out, maybe this person's sort of trying to figure it out on their own. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? But I do feel like why this might have happened the way it happened is because maybe this person was very much not upfront or keeping a lot to themselves, or like very, very maybe defensive or keeping out person A. There's some reason why A got very drained here. And maybe it's like, dealing with somebody who has some sort of condition could be quite draining, because this person could certainly act in all sorts of ways. And even maybe before there's been this sort of falling apart, if you will, it could be that B's tendency here is to create distance and space, because there's distance, there's isolation, there's this not sharing, and there could be like a hyperfixation on work, because for some of you guys, we have workaholic, and then we have the 7 swords, and this like 8 pentacles is like, I'm gonna focus on this thing, And I feel like this person might have been very much like making reasons or excuses why that it needed to be that way. It's like, I must do it this way for whatever reason that they held close to their chest, and keep myself sort of that world to me, because this compartmentalization, I do feel like person A might have felt very boxed out, and person B might keep relationship in one sort of area of their world that doesn't touch the other area of the world, and it creates some form of dysfunction. It's like A can't compete or pierce into some understanding of this person's world. And I do feel with trickery and 7 swords, there might have been some like, B sort of using the advantage of the dynamic to their advantage in some way, and maintaining a form of distance. But I do feel like there was a lot of holding themselves back. Yeah, holding themselves back, creating a separation, or creating a distance, and creating mistrust, and creating all sorts of division here. So we do need to see some more, because I'm missing a lot, I feel here, Spirits, what can we go off of here with this connection? Like, what's going on here? Clear and concise message. Can we take a look at the overall energy here in this connection? What am I missing? We're going to keep these aside and look at them shortly. What am I missing here for pile number 3 and this connection? What does pile 3 need to know about this connection exactly? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Look at this sun coin. That's this one where I ordered this deck. Isn't that awesome? Anyway, I thought I'd share it with you. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. Getting Leo energy just because of the sun. What's going on with pile number 3 in this connection, Spirit? What are we missing here? Can we go in a deeper layer here in this connection? Thank you so much. We have 5 cups. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. And we have the 5 of Wands in reverse. Why is this Ace of Pentacles here? We have the Hermit, Virgo energy, more 9 energy, which we're really picking up here. And we have the 6 Swords. And why is this 5 of Cups here? The Knight of Cups. Okay, and then finally, why is the 5 of Wands in reverse here? We have the Empress in reverse, Taurus, Libra energy. And we have the Knight of Pentacles, and we have the 6 of Cups in reverse. Okie dokie. Let me peel this back, but let's see, what are these two all about before I forget? Death in the limbo position, Scorpio energy, and we have King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay, so there's so much to unpack here. Knight of Pentacles, and under the Knight of Pentacles is the 6 Cups in reverse and this Hangman, Pisces. Okay. Okay, beautiful people, there's lots and lots of information coming through here. One, I do think there's some sort of mental deficiency, you know, that could be definitely going on chemically, or maybe person B might be going through some form of a depression. You know, like there is definitely something going on here with person B. And I do feel like there's a significant sort of shift or change in the dynamic here, which is shifting person B. There's a transformation that's happening. Okay, in regards to B, and releasing certain things that are actually not conducive or healthy or helpful to this connection. And I do feel like there is still this ongoing movement, okay? Although it's the Knight of Pentacles, which is very slow, stuck at times. The Knight of Pentacles is the type of knight that you would ask to sort of fold your parachute, you know? Very concise, and again, this autism's coming through, which is interesting because I don't generally always use that analogy for the Knight of Pentacles, but this sort of like this autism, like it is very much folding of the parachute in a way that is going to make sure that the parachute works. You know, the type of knight that you'd ask to walk you through the minefield, you know, the type of knight that is going to go slow, but is going to make sure that it gets done. So there's that type of energy. Oh my gosh, you just felt something on my leg and I thought it was a spider and I almost lost my mind. Just want to make sure. I almost lost my mind. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, almost lost my mind. I thought I saw a spider. We have schizophrenia here. I think your person might have some mental issues, okay? No judgment here, and I'm not diagnosing. That was very interesting. And like I say, everything happens for a reason in all my readings. Okay, that tripped me out. I literally thought I saw a spider. But anyway, so 6 of Cups in reverse. Person, place, thing of the past that has us stuck. It doesn't allow us to break free from, because it emotionally has a hold of us. You know, like our hometown, and we don't move away from that, or like we still, you know, have some form of an unhealthy emotional attachment to the past, which prevents us from movement. And so maybe this person's been slowly, carefully trying to find a way to move out of the 6 Cups energy, but it all requires a change of perspective and mindset, and having to see things in a different way. That I feel maybe has been what's sort of very slow here with death in the sideways position, because this is all about the change and transformation that needs to happen, the things that need to be released so there can be movement. They need to be understood. And maybe this person's like very slow to come up with like a strategy or a game plan. Again, strategy coming through with the 7 of Swords. and this King of Swords. It's like they want to know, they want to know, they want to know, and they want to understand. And it's like, I won't do anything or let go or move out of this and hang on to the world I do know, which is the Six Cups, the world I know as a child, or the world that I have been used to for so long. But I do feel like there's a soul recognition here to pile A, or person A, I should say, like a very much, I don't feel person B is going to want to move on or let go of person A. There's an attachment here. Okay, and like I said, a holding back of energy here. And I think the intention was always and is showing up here as coming up with a plan so I could release what's actually not working so I can move forward slowly, slowly, slowly. Because there is a potential here for a new beginning. And I feel like whatever's happened between these two has created, I feel person B to feel very sad. I feel like A is sad as well, but I feel more of the draining energy because I feel like this Five Cups is more like person B looking back, feeling bad, feeling like they dropped the ball potentially here, and feeling like they want to show emotions or they want to express how bad they feel. But I do feel like there is this slow movement out of isolation, slow movement out of the inner world. Because if B's been in an inner world for so long, and that's their Six Cups in reverse, it's a world that no one can really enter, And I don't know how long B has been in this world, but nobody can enter, so people feel shut out, and it's like this slow progress out or this slow movement, because all it creates is Five Swords. And when they create Five Swords in relationship, they sit in a Five Cups, which they look back feeling sad or upset at what they could have, should have done differently. And I do feel like I was saying, I was getting sun energy because I feel like there's some realization of a potential here that they feel for. There's love here. And so I do feel like there's the surrender that came through with pile person A that came through initially right away. There's also a surrender here with the Five Wands in reverse that's showing up. And so it's definitely a mixture of A surrendering, but I also am getting person B surrendering here because I don't think B wants conflict, and I don't think B wants to have a divide here between the two, because again, they want reconciliation. They feel isolated. They feel alone. So I feel like they're slowly moving out of their isolation based on how they feel so that they can create something here with person A that doesn't create the conflict that they've been experiencing. Because I do feel like they miss feeling the love or the warmth or the compassion or what it was that person A was giving them, which is the Empress energy, love, warmth, abundance. The Empress is all the queens in one. And I'm feeling that person B is seeing person A as everything that they needed was in person A. Person A provided everything. Mother, friends, sounding board, whatever, all the queens in one here, and it's been removed. And person B is feeling very sad and doesn't like this. They don't want conflict. They want to have the Empress back. So they're being very cautious in how to go about this. And I do feel like there is some form of realization with the Sun and the Hangman that's different than the past, but I'm still not seeing exactly how, and I'm not sold on anything here, but it's very obvious that there's a transformation and a release and a surrender and a feeling bad. But I don't know why all of a sudden, and I don't know how much of this can be really changed if we have a lot of like mental sort of if we're limited. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like I want to use all the cards to do this because I feel like there's more we need to understand. Spirits, for this final message, let's move these up in the air. Up in the air. Up higher. That's funny. Okay, spirits, for pile number 3. What am I missing? Can we close out this reading with what is sort of shifting here, and what am I missing in regards to this connection? One more layer. Any questions that pile number 3 still has regarding this connection that we can answer? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Thank you, Spirit, for this message. These cards are so jumpy. Jumpy, poppy. My goodness. It's my first time shuffling tarot cards. Sure seems that way. Alrighty. So we have the Chariot, Cancer energy. Okay. 3 of Cups in reverse. Emperor. So we saw the Empress, and now we're seeing the Emperor. Divine counterparts here. Okay. Aries energy, divine masculine energy. We have the 4 Wands. So this is my 1111 card, which could definitely signify a coming together, a union. Twin flames, if you're on that journey. Ace of Wands. And we have the Knight of Wands in reverse, and we have the 2 of Wands in reverse. So lots of passion keeps coming through in this connection, lots of fire. There's the World card. Okay, successful conclusion, end of a cycle. And we saw the Death card in the sort of parallel position. So, parallel, what's wrong with me? Horizontal position. So, don't ask, you guys. My spirit team's got jokes. So, the World. That's good. Something's closing out that needs to close out successfully. Okay? This is also success. So we have 2 cards of success. And the bottom card is usually the bulk or the thrust of the reading. So, success, integration, movement. Okay? Now, 3 Cups is the card of reconciliation, which we got several times here. 6 Cups is the card of reconciliation, which we saw in reverse for your person, but it's still reconciliation, reconciliation, reconciliation. I say your person. I'm assuming your B is your person. Person B is coming forward with a reconciliation. Okay, but I think B is really isolated or secluded right now because they might be really going through a contemplation, a reflective period in which they're strategizing and really pulled away in order to get empowered to make action and feel empowered to do so. It could be that this person made a decision or something thereof that didn't prioritize or choose this connection or take it in a serious fashion here with the 3 Cups. Okay, but I do feel like person B is seriously contemplating some form of commitment here when it comes to 4 Wands and the Emperor. This is like a family man. This is like a being like someone who wants to commit to laying the roots of a foundation of something stable here and is inspired to do this. Okay, so they're inspired to do this. They're driven to do this. There's a lot of passion to do this, lots of wands, lots of attraction, but I feel like this person isn't feeling, with the Knight of Wands in reverse, at the point where they're confidently able to execute, which is why they're still strategizing. And so I feel like this person still hasn't decided to choose that just yet or move in that direction of the wand because they want it to be, again, perfect. And I feel like with this autism, and I feel like with this, all the strategizing and all this, like King of Swords energy, there's like, it must be exactly perfect before I take action. And I was really feeling like the folding of the parachute and all of this stuff, which is, this channeling is coming through so weird. I don't generally channel all this way, but this is the way it's coming through. And so I'm really feeling person B very strongly. You know, it's like, I want it to be in this way, and that way is the only way it's going to have to be. And so this is why things have been kind of very slow, and why this person, oh my goodness, why this person is so drained. This person is so drained. You know, I was really getting it from the beginning, because could you imagine watching somebody fold a parachute and making sure every single corner is folded, you know, and I'm not making fun of this, but I'm just saying this is how this process feels. in this connection. But Spirit is assuring success. Spirit is assuring a closing of a cycle. Spirit is assuring that there's positive intention. Spirit is assuring that person B is strategizing. Person B wants to choose the wand that is going to push them outside of their comfort zone in order to have progress here. But they have to build up their confidence or feel like they are in the energy that's going to successfully pull it off without floundering or just like doing something here, recklessly, like coming in like a wrecking ball. Like this person is not the type of person that's going to spontaneously do everything sort of fast at all. And again, we saw like the strength here, which means they were holding back. It's like holding back. Doesn't matter how much passion I feel I hold back. And I hold back because I want to lay the roots. I want it to be solid. I want it to be grounded. I want it to be stable. I want it to come together right. I want to do the right thing. I want to do it in an orderly fashion. No matter how sexually attracted I am, or no matter how much passion and fire I have, I will hold myself back until it's done right. And it's very much like father energy, Father energy, he's going to put everything aside here until the basic foundation or fundamentals are in place. He's not going to put, unless you have some father who's like immature. An emperor, father energy that's in a divine masculine energy is going to make sure that order and the structure and all of that's there before he allows himself to have any fun. Yeah, this person is kind of not allowing themselves to have fun. They're not exploring the fun of this connection. They're not letting themselves experience sexually, even, I feel here. They might be very much robbing person A and B, both of them, these two, of like experiencing fun, experiencing sexually, experiencing passion, experiencing spontaneously, experiencing, And I think this is missing because it seems very dry. It seems kind of structured, So, but I mean, nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, but this is all about a balance and integration and success, like I said, and an end of a cycle. And I think the end of the cycle could definitely be this rift between these two, or this period where person A is needing to build up their energy reservoir. That could certainly be what comes to an end, successfully here. But I don't know necessarily what I see is going to change here, other than, maybe B finally like taking another little step here towards this foundation. Hermit in reverse. Yeah, coming out of this isolation, coming out of that withdrawal, coming out of maybe where they were like focused on isolating themselves or secluding themselves from the fun or what they could experience. They are coming out, and I feel like it's like coaxing them like out of this hole that they've been in that's really isolated, very removed, very separated, very withdrawn. Yeah, isolation, confinement, separation, division. Okay. And I don't know, with this imagination and like they're really in their head, strategizing, planning. So listening to yourself. I feel like person B could definitely get in their own way, in their own head, with stories. We even have storyteller. It's like they believe their own stories of like, whatever they tell themselves, like if it's not ready or it's not perfect or it's not this or it's not that, it's like they believe it so much so that it impacts their action or how fast they can go or whether they can show up. But I do feel like there's a passion here that is driving this person to take action and to close things out and to like move forward. Six of Pentacles. Yeah, I do feel like there's going to be a balance that's restored here, that whatever was missing, because something was definitely missing, is now being contributed to this connection. And I do feel like it's whatever B was withholding, B is now contributing or giving, investing. Wow. Wasn't that quite the reading? I love you guys very much. Pile number 3. It's not easy. And if you are God bless you and your energy here, which I feel has been very depleted, working through this, and even B must be exhausted, but I feel like this is where B is like comfortable. And they're coming out of their comfort zone to maybe match a pace here that meets A, because this is a faster pace. So if you're drawn to another pile, I will see you there. Bye-bye. Hello, beautiful angels, pile number 4. You guys picked the Rainbow Heart Tarot 4th edition. I can't wait to get into your reading. I am going to be looking at the energy between you and the person on your mind. We'll be doing an A-B format. So person A versus person B. You could be A or B. Okay, it doesn't matter which side you fall on, but you must resonate with one side for this to be your pile or your messaging. Otherwise, you can go check out another pile. Okay, so I might start channeling, saying you and them, because sometimes that's how it comes through, but I'm going to try to stick to AB so that you don't get confused. But if I say it's you and it's not really you, it's your person, then just attribute it as you see fit, okay? So we'll start with person A, and we'll look at the overall energy between A and B, and hopefully take a look at what's going on in this connection. So spirits, person A, their energy, right here, right now. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. For pile number 4, person A's energy. What's going on with them energetically in this connection at this time? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of this connection and pile number 4. Person B, spirits. Pile 4, person B, their energy in this connection. Interesting how that came out. We'll reveal these cards shortly. Let's pull some oracles as well. Person A, energetically, what's going on with person A for pile 4? What's going on with their energy at this time? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of this connection. Person A's energy at this time. Person A's energy. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4, spirits. Person B, person B's energy at this time. Thank you so much, pile number 4, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. Person A, energy for person A, spirit. Thank you so much. Person B, energy for person B. Person B. Let's take the one that revealed itself. We have Moon and Chiron. Cancer, Pisces. Okay. Let's start with A. First, let's just look at the bottom of the deck. 6 of Swords. Moving on to calmer waters. Let's see. Are we in a 5 Swords? We got an 8 Pentacles. That's the work card. The Star in reverse. Aquarius energy. Page of Cups in reverse. And the 5 of Cups in reverse. Okay. We have Strength, Leo energy. So we have 2 8s here. 8's all about movement, change, and attainment. 6 of Swords is definitely movement. Okay, so it says straight talk, vitality, fight, power, control, courage. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness, compulsion, ideal, ego level. And we have projection, 33, defense mechanism, ego level. So 33 is a master number. It's all about reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, joy, and harmony. So it says projection, expulsion from yourself, external reapproach, shifting, victimization, externalization, external attribution. Number 6. 6 is problem solving, compassion, and harmony. 6 is also lovers, which is Gemini. Maybe need for a choice here. Maybe shifting to another gear here is what I'm feeling, making the choice to shift. Okay, 6 is also devil, Capricorn energy, Gemini energy. It says type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. 3 is Empress. 3 is also growth. Maybe growth is being reflected on both sides here as a projection. So we have 18, basic fear, ego level. With the number 9, loss, abandonment, detachment, mourning, departure, separation, and distanciation. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. So I'm feeling a lot of moon and a lot of, no, I'm feeling a lot of moon from this. So Cancer, Pisces, but definitely there could be Virgo here as well. But I'm not feeling a whole lot of Hermit. We have Venus and Saturn with 32 or the number 5. Let's take a look at this. Oh, look at that opening. My spirit team loves me. So we have conjunct, sextile, trine. Primitive, you might make rigid rules that block spontaneous love from your life. Adaptive, you are trustworthy and consistent in love, and others admire your loyalty. Evolving, you have learned to create more love from the pain of loss and limitation. Having endured loss, you stand as a true authority on love. In conjunct, opposition, square. Primitive, you are a heartbroken heartbreaker who consistently feels cut off from love. Adaptive, you get real about love and make practical decisions based on your core values. Evolving, you have learned to work through obstacles of all kinds to find enduring love. You teach others about love and commitment. Okay. We'll definitely have to peel this back. Okay. I do feel like this could be your person. Okay, but it might be very closely mirrored, and so I'm not going to attribute anything, but I'm going to call this A either way. But intuitively, I'm getting that something has happened here that has created person A to see the light through some disappointment is kind of how I feel. And it might be a disappointment in regards to losing out because of a decision potentially that they could have made better or should have made, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Because there is a loss, a missing out, feeling abandoned, feeling detached, which might drive this person to shift gears in some way or have to confront something or have to, take control back or have to do something here, because it could very well be that person A might have chose something or did something here that might have been selfish or immature or I don't know, that they regret, that maybe now has to create some form of an apology of sorts here. And maybe through losing this connection, there's been sort of this need for action. But I do feel like whatever happened between these two, which again, just stick with me because more unfolds here. I think there's more to the story, and it could be that A is actually different than how I'm describing it, but we'll see. I feel like there is a initial reason why maybe that someone was acting immature or A was acting immature. I don't know just yet. Maybe both were acting out of, I don't know. Something feels like it's happened here to create some disillusion of the future or to lose hope here of whatever might have been hopeful at one point in time. It's I no longer see that vision, or it's no longer an option here, a choice or something like this. But I feel like what had happened here was potentially person A could have been doing a lot of projecting when whatever happened in order to create the dysfunction, if you will. Or person B could have projected onto A in some way. I don't know. There's some projection definitely going on here, and I don't want to just stick to it being A because I'm not sure. Okay, but I do feel like what is for certain is that there's a need to shift gears, and there's a not necessarily liking what the results are here, because the results are seeing a future thing that might have been very hopeful at one point in time slip away in some way, and having to confront and be honest about things and maybe shift how we were engaged and feeling bad about decisions or our own energy, and putting in this work or this energy of actually being dedicated. Is the most dedicated card in the tarot because it's all about the energy and the effort and the commitment we do day in, day out to create outcomes that are actually going to result in a long-term, like 10 Pentacle. So, okay, now I'm getting another thing here. Because I'm seeing all of these like masks. It could have very well been that person A, okay, just take what resonates. This one's really not coming through as pointed as the other ones did, but I feel like person A might have time and time again been consistently creating different circumstances here that might not necessarily have been good. Just because it's an 8 Pentacles, I don't think it was productive. I think what they were producing here was a bunch of circumstances that were creating fears and projections. Projections, which over time, I think created this thing from no longer having the sustainability or the future, because maybe there was one too many projection here. Like maybe they were building monsters in this connection, you know, like that's a projection. It's like thinking the worst, or like time and time again, like their thought or their engagement or their decisions were creating these monstrous situations that kept having to be overcome or explored to the point where maybe it just, I don't know, it just kept recreating these monsters, you know? Now I feel there might be a separation or a loss, for sure a loss. I need to heal, I need to confront, it needs to be honest, it needs to maybe look at certain parts of self, what we could have done better, what we should have done better, or like that sort of thing, or what we regret. Okay, so we'll get more, but let's peel back B then. This is an interesting one. So we got the moon and Chiron, so healing emotions here. And we have the Ace of Swords in reverse, so a lack of clarity, a lack of certainty, maybe even a lack of communication or truth. Nine of Wands in reverse, surrender, giving up, putting down our walls, no longer wanting to fight, no longer communicating, no longer seeking for answers potentially here. The Chariot in reverse, so things out of balance, stuck. Cancer energy, things may be a little reckless even. And the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, stuck, and more stuck. But this is movement, moving away. Okay. We have withdrawal. Yeah. Disintegration, 80 stress level. Mentalization, conspiracy, isolation, pullback, disinvestment. Yeah, disinvestment. Aggressiveness, type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. Yeah. Ordinariness, 22, avoidance, ego level. Conformism, platitude, routine, dullness, monotony, mediocrity. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance, or the number 4. So 22 is about peacemaker, diplomacy, healthy energetic boundaries, divinely guided relationships. 4 is Emperor, Aries energy, it's all about stability. And getting some Leo with the 8 as well. And some Taurus with the 5. And Cancer, like I said, resignation, feeling helpless, immobilism, fatalism, surrender, submission, renunciation. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. 72 or 9. So 9 is hermit energy, which could definitely be a withdrawal into hermit mode. Collective plague, stress level, 72. So Virgo energy, and yes, we already read that one. Okay. Okay. Person B is completely withdrawn. I feel they gave up. They hit a point here, I feel, where they want to move on from whatever this is, because either things were really unclear to them, or there might have been a lack of communication in regards to the movement or the progress or even the future of this connection that wasn't revealed to them or understood by them. And it's like, I don't even want to fight for something. I don't know where it's going. or that isn't moving or isn't progressing or is getting maybe cyclical or getting worse than it is getting better. Because again, I feel this person might have been throwing monsters out, you know? And so this person's pulled away, is slowly moving on. And I do feel like this person is trying to focus on regaining their own balance back, like their balance back in their world, finding their flow, as you would when you just come out of a connection. Because I do feel like this seems like it's a fresh sort of pulling back, pulling away, or removing themselves, and really surrendering to the fact that this is the only way for them to get out of a situation that is conflict. 5 swords. There's 5 swords between these two. And so I don't know, because there's something here about having to confront something, you know, but I also feel like, I don't know, are they holding themselves back of something? We're going to see more, you know, but I feel like overall there was a lack of communication or clarity regarding the future state, or something that's come into questioning the future state of this connection, because somebody might have did one thing maybe once too many, or one cycle too many, where it became no choice but to sort of surrender to the only option, which is to get out of 5 swords and heal from the situation, lick our wounds. Because I feel like person A has a lot of love experience, a lot of emotions, but at the same time wants to heal from this experience. And I feel like what B really wants is like clarity and certainty and like truth. And they might feel like it was lacking from this connection or the situation or the circumstance, you know, the truth of where they were going or where this was going. That's interesting. Let's see. Spirit, so what am I missing here in this connection? Because I feel like I can't put my pulse in what's going on here with A so much. Can we take a look at this connection? What am I missing in regards to the energy dynamic between A and B in pile 4? Pile 4 connection, the connection they came here about. What's going on in this connection? Energy between person A and B in pile 4, spirits. 4 wands. That is my 1111 card, which could signify a twin flame connection. It's all about a community, a coming together, a foundation. It could signify marriage. Judgment in reverse. So again, the lack of clarity, lack of understanding. Like, what are we building here? And for some of you guys, it could have been like, you know, do I want to get married? Do I want to build something here with this person? It became in question. 10 of Pentacles, yeah, it became in question. It's like, is this something we could build for the long term that's going to stand the test of time? It needs roots. It needs to come together. It needs to be grounded if it's going to be built to a 10 Pentacles. And it looked like something couldn't be built to a 10 Pentacles. The Emperor, there's the Father. The Lovers, Aries, Gemini. So the Lovers is a choice. The Lovers is choosing a partner that we can build a future with. You know? Why is 10 Pentacles here in reverse then, Spirit? Something fell apart. Ace of Cups, new beginning, emotional new beginning. And the Tower, something fell apart. Catastrophic. 10 of Swords in reverse. Okay. Okie dokie. So we'll see some more, because I feel we need to dig into A a little bit more, because it's very clear where B stands. B stands in, I want to move forward. I don't know what the future holds. And it's catastrophic. Things came tumbling down, and not in a good way. Not in a good way at all. One monster too many, or something here that really was, the House of Cards came tumbling down. The reality is that it's not sustainable. We can't build something long-term here. And so there's this ending that just happened, or is, yeah, I feel it's just happened here and maybe hasn't been fully processed, is how I feel here with this still fresh energy I was feeling of a fresh sort of breakup here. It's like it just ended, or it's a sudden, abrupt surprise ending of sorts here, where we're still processing. And so this is all about like family and commitment, and it's like somebody would have to create structure, or somebody would have to be in their energy of being mature, making wise decisions, being in like more of an energy that could be relied upon to create stability and structure and order. And I feel like person B, if I got to read this the way that I'm picking it up intuitively, is now coming to some form of realization of sorts that person A is not mature enough or have it within them to be the person that's going to build this future with them. But I am now picking up A, and I do feel like A is having to clear their mind and make a decision, which I was really feeling from this shifting their energy towards maybe being this Page of Cups, which is, again, self-focused, a little immature, emotionally underdeveloped here, to a quantum leap into this Emperor energy, which is shifting into this more mature energy to choose a more aligned path that will create some form of structure here in order to have a new beginning. Now I'm also getting, oh goodness, I feel like person A doesn't see or doesn't understand, because again, a quantum leap to go from the energy that they're in, and I think they're really challenging themselves, because in order for them to make a choice to come towards B or to build with B, it would require them to be an Emperor energy, and I don't think they know how, or they're trying to figure out how to shift into this energy, like struggling with themselves or really trying to gain control of themselves or power back or something here, because the only way for them to move forward, to come together in this lovers union, to build the roots and to experience each other and maybe move forward, it would require Emperor energy, and they don't see how. And instead of understanding it, maybe they feel like they've lost out so much and they're hopeless. It's like, I want to come forward and have a new beginning here and offer my apology or offer just a cup. But it's like, just say I love you, but that's not a tangible build here, and it's definitely not enough. But it's like a desperate act to save something, like, I have feelings, or let's start again. Start what though? Like, something feels funny here. 8 swords. Yeah, like limited. And what is this limiting thought? This is a belief we have that doesn't allow us to move forward, because it constricts us, or it makes us feel like we're incapable of movement because we don't see a way forward, because we believe in some form of limitation. And it's like the lover's path would require this Emperor, and this person A feels like they are incapable of being an Emperor. They're only capable of being the monster maker and the immature energy, or the one who fumbles, or the one who disappoints, or the one who does things here and makes choices that aren't great and then rejects. They project, and then they feel isolated, and then they mourn, or they detach. Something doesn't feel right here. And let's see, it could definitely be because the snapshot I'm catching of these two is like a breakup where one monster got projected, and now person A is like in desperation mode, like, oh, I should just sort of come forward. And what is all this? What is all this, you guys? 6 wands, ego, victory, 10 swords, and the tower. Oh, we saw this. So the tower ending, but 6 wands is victory. This is being seen. Let's take a look here. Okay. Spirit, what am I missing? Pile number 4. I was going to say pile 6. Pile 4. A and B. What's going on in this connection for pile 4? Can we break it down in a way that is going to make sense for pile 4? What's going on here in this connection? Deeper layer. The lovers. Okay, great. So we were checking off from where we left off. A choice to go down the lover's path, to choose this connection, would require some maturity, would require some level of engagement in a more structured way, more committed way, more solid, stable, more mature. So what's going on here in this connection then? Queen of Pentacles. There's the mother. So we have the mother and the father. Queen of Pentacles, which is Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy. 10 of Cups. Family. Happily ever after. Emotional abundance. The Hermit, Virgo energy. So heavy Virgo. Isolation. Reflection. Leo energy in reverse. Remove to get more clarity. Remove to understand things better, to see things better. To find happiness, maybe even I have to remove myself or withdraw. Again, pile or person B is coming through here. 6 of Cups in reverse and Temperance. Sagittarius energy. So 6 of Cups in reverse is feeling very stuck on a person, place, thing of the past. An experience, a childhood memory, a thing that doesn't free us, doesn't allow us to have progress. This is also the card of reconciliation, which I do feel there is a separation and a need for there to be some form of action taken in order to have healing or balance. The Moon in reverse, Pisces, Cancer, and the Four of Wands yet again. So again, symbolizing definitely could be dealing with a twin flame connection here with the Lovers and the Four of Wands. Something very destined about this connection and the 6 Cups, which is my soulmate. So something's being healed. Something's coming into balance here. I do feel like this runs deeper than just, like these two feeling connected on a soul level and a reconciliation, which it definitely means. I think there's some form of thing that needs to be resolved in the inner child or experience that really has to be healed in order for these two to come into balance, in order for this path to be opened up, which will only be healed upon reflection, only be healed upon isolation. Unfortunately, only upon isolation do we see clearly. And what are these two seeing? Seeing a way forward, getting clarity about the future that they want for the long term that is unclear right now or is not certain. And it's about what's going to bring them happiness in the long term with who they want to build it with. What community of people do they want to build it with? Do they want to build it with, their old family and friends, or a cycle here that maybe has them stuck? It could be, I don't know, like if they're with their soulmate or first marriage, or I don't know, living with their initial family members or something like this, or like a community, or maybe like their bros or their sisses, or there's some childhood thing that has most likely either A, stuck. Yeah, I feel it's A. That's needing to be healed. So it's balanced. So it's not taking control of this connection. Because as long as A doesn't make a choice or get clear or understand what they want for the future and hang on to the bros of the past, or the hometown, or the mom's basement, or the marriage that I had from my teeny bop years, I can't show up. We can't create a future. We can't create the roots. We can't get married. We can't experience this connection in a healthy way, because B is like, well, I need to see and understand the long-term potential of where this happiness is going to go, because my happiness would require two people coming together here, sharing, building the cake, which would require roots. It would require an emperor. It would require a King of Pentacles to my Queen of Pentacles. Otherwise, I have no choice but to go and do the 6 wands, or 6 swords, which is what they're doing. So I think in order to come out of confusion, this divine journey has led these two apart so that they could reflect. So whatever's happening is very divine. We have a major, 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 major. Okay? That's huge. The universe is bringing these two apart. Something happened. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that someone didn't choose to do something here foolishly, but it's like a choice made out of an unhealed version of themselves that was having to happen in order for there to be a forced upon isolation. So there could be a forced upon review of what do you want? both of you guys for this long-term future. It has to be clear and it has to be expressed and it has to be in line with what brings true initial happiness here. Because if one person has one vision of what it means to come together and what their community looks like, and the other person has another vision of what the community looks like, and they're misaligned, they can't come together. So it's to get them out of uncertainty, to get them out of the moonlight, to get them out of what was unclear here. Something very unclear. And the uncertainty is, who is the community going to be built with for the long term? Where does this happiness reside? It has to be understood. And look, we have the King of Cups, which is all about deep emotions and love. And the Queen of Pentacles is the practical queen. Like I said, the mother, who's caring, compassionate, grounded, resourceful. And the King of Cups has deep, deep emotions here, but he isn't always the best at taking action on these loving emotions. And we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so I feel like A might have, like, it definitely needs to confront something and might have not have been confronting the truth. Because like I said, there's a need to shift gears here. What's the truth? What do they want? Like provide some form of communication, some form of clarity that they might have been avoiding or not wanting to admit or not wanting to confront. And I do feel like B's like, what is the answer? And so it led to there not being an answer, but there being like a separation or a reflection here. And so now I do feel like B's the one who pulled back, or B's the one who went in hermit. And now both of these are in hermit, because A is having to really think about, is it going to be the place that I'm stuck because I have this emotional attachment to it that's unhealthy, that doesn't let me progress with my life, that needs to be dealt with and healed, but that I have either too many fears around or never wanted to look at? Or is it going to be B? And if it's going to be B, it requires me to be an emperor, which would require me to level up here. So they're both contemplating. And that's what's happening here between these two. I know you guys want to see what B is going to do, or at least I do. So I think we do this. And I'm going to put all of these back, and then we're going to do this as final because my readings are long, and my spirits team thinks that I have nothing better to do, which I don't. So let's take a look. Thank you so much, spirits. We are so blessed for this message. Can we take a look? Kindly. Person A. Based on the energy. What are they leaning towards? What's going to happen here? Clear and concise message. Wrap this up. Now, remember, this is just where the energy is sitting. It can shift in any moment. Do not take it as the outcome predictor of where this is going to go. Okay? Based on the energy, we might just see them sitting in limbo, Where is A going to take this thing? We have the Hierophant in reverse. Queen of Wands in reverse. So some of you guys could be the other lady here, which is what the Queen of Wands means, but it's like not feeling valued, not feeling appreciated. Again, this is B's energies coming through as the Queen of Wands in reverse. Taurus, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There's the King of Cups. There's the Ace of Wands in reverse. Why is this King of Cups here? King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and the 10 Wands in reverse, and 5 of Pentacles, and the Chariots, Cancer energy. Okay, so very quickly, what's happening here? Exactly what I said. Person A has to sit with a deep understanding and look at their own feelings. They can't avoid it anymore. There's passion, there's love, there's a need to take rational, logical action in regards to what's real. What's really going on in their world. Because the 6 of Cups in reverse is like a memory. It's not a real thing that's happening to them. They have an emotional attachment that needs to be healed. And so they need to be honest and they need to deal with something. And I feel like this is where they're sitting with. It's like the straw is going to break the camel's back, and has already broken the camel's back, because B has left the party. B is not feeling valued, seen. They don't want to be the other woman, regardless of what the third party thing is. Maybe person A is in a marriage. Maybe person A is like committing to something foolishly. This is like committing ourselves foolishly to some sort of something at the detriment of the greater purpose, So there's some form of like martyring going on, or like situation that A is like committing themselves to here foolishly, and it's going to be seen, and it's going to have to be understood, because something does snap here over time. And I feel like A doesn't want to be left out in the cold, and A doesn't progress from there. A can't progress from there. It's a 6 cups. It's an illusion fantasy of what they experienced in the past that was emotionally fulfilling at some point in time. It's stagnant. It's stuck. It doesn't allow there to be balance. It doesn't allow there to be victory and harmony. It just makes them feel out in the cold. And they're also out in the cold from person B. And person B might be a little upset. You know, they might be. But I do feel like person A is holding back as long as they can until they can't no more. And when they can't no more, they're going to have to come forward with some sort of strategy. And that's what they're going to be doing, is like acting on their emotions, acting on their passion. I can't no more be held back. I can't no more pretend like this corrupt system of mine, whatever it might be. I say corrupt, doesn't necessarily have to be, just something that's no longer I'm going to conform to, because it's conforming to something to the point where it doesn't even make any sense. The structure that once I committed to is no longer something that allows me movement or growth. But I do feel like they have to hit that breaking point, you know, and it's only created by this pause. It's only created by this hermit, this withdrawal, and this resignation, this surrender, this pulling back. And then person A feels a loss. They feel abandoned. They feel like they're mourning. And also on the other side is like this departure. It's like they got to leave something. They got to separate themselves from something. So they feel damned if they do, damned if they don't. Like the loss is very apparent. I'm either going to lose B or I'm going to lose A. But a lot of it is a projection, because it's like, what are they losing? 6 of Cups in reverse. They've already lost it. It's like an imaginary thing, a world here that they think they're going to lose out on that's already lost. That's the projection of the loss that actually isn't happening, at the expense of a real loss that's happening here with B leaving their life. So, you know, they're in some fantasy still, and they're having to struggle through this and be honest with themselves. One is a fantasy world that they want to hang on to, that emotionally does something for them. And the other one is a reality of something that could be something for them, but they're having to see through this. All right. That makes me feel better. Pile number 4. This is your reading. I love you guys very, very much. If you're drawn to another pile, I will see you there. All right. Bye-bye.